So I went to donate blood the other day, and you know, this is what no one tells you about blood donation. As soon as you get in there, they're berating you with questions, like whose blood is this, and why is it in a bucket? Ladies and gentlemen, it is Blood Week with the Triology Trio. Check in all week for blood-related content. Don't be vain, throw a follow.
Welcome to Blood Week. We're kicking off the week with some Triology Trio blood under a microscope. We'll keep you guessing about whose blood it is, but feel free to take a guess in the comments. What you're seeing right now is a whole bunch of red blood cells at work. Sit back, relax, and get ready for plenty of blood-related content throughout this week.
You know when farmers do like a call to get all the cows to come? Well, I'm going to do a call to get a new biology fun fact to come. Here she comes. Welcome back to Blood Week with the Triology Trio. Today we're going to talk about one of the most important parts of the blood, hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein that makes up most of your red blood cell, and it helps carry oxygen to all the tissues in your body that need it, which by the way is all the tissues. But why do we need a protein to do that? Can't oxygen as a gas just dissolve in the bloodstream and spread itself across the body? That is a great question. Turns out hemoglobin is composed of 4 hemes, which looks like this. Notice the iron in the middle there? That's the thing that's going to actually attach to the oxygen that the red blood cell gets from your lungs. That process looks a little bit something like this. Each of these is a heme, and you'll notice the oxygen, in fact 2 oxygens, attaches to that iron right there. Look at that, isn't that cute? So considering each red blood cell contains about 250 million hemoglobin, each of which is composed of 4 hemes, each of which can hold an O2 molecule, that is a lot of oxygen that your blood can carry around to the rest of your body. In fact, your body can carry 75 times the amount of oxygen with your red blood cells than it would be able to without them. And now you know. Happy Blood Week, everyone.
Well, that's a fun fact. Let's learn some more.
Nobody move, there's blood on the floor. And I can't find my heart.
Oh, that's not blood. That's hemolymph. That's horseshoe crab hemolymph. Guys, who spilled the horseshoe crab hemolymph? We need that. Before you scroll away, if you don't care about horseshoe crab blood, let me convince you that you do. So hemolymph is kind of like blood for horseshoe crabs and their arthropod cousins, like insects and arachnids. But they don't have a closed circulatory system like you and I. Their circulatory system is open, so the hemolymph floats around in their body cavity, just bringing nutrients and oxygen to the cells that need them. But horseshoe crab hemolymph is especially important for medicine. We extract the proteins from their white blood cells, and we call that limulus amoebocyte lysate. And what's special about that is when it comes into contact with bacteria, it really clumps up. So we use that to test for contamination everywhere. If you got a COVID vaccine, thank a horseshoe crab. Oh, and by the way, their blood's blue, but that's for another video. See you there.
Isn't biology great? Let's dive deeper.
Do you guys know horseshoe crabs have blue blood? I'm serious, look at this. Horseshoe crabs have blue blood because they do things just a little bit differently than you and I. If you listen to Anthony, you might remember that we have hemoglobin in our blood, which uses iron to bind to oxygen. Well, horseshoe crabs use hemocyanin, which uses copper, and gives it that characteristic blue color. I promise I'll keep the chemistry quick, but hemocyanin uses 6 of these histidine amino acids to coordinate to 2 copper ions, which then bind to the oxygen like you see down there. Okay, chemistry over. Now, hemocyanin is primarily found in arthropods, which includes the horseshoe crab, scorpions, spiders, and insects, and in mollusks, which includes octopus and snails. But those 2 proteins are actually not related at all, and came about in 2 separate evolutionary events. Along with being blue and utilizing copper, another thing that arthropod and mollusk hemocyanin have in common is that they are both massive proteins. I'm sorry, just a little bit more chemistry. So human hemoglobin weighs 64.5 kilodaltons, which is a respectable size. But hemocyanin can weigh more than 3.5 megadaltons. That means for 1 mole of the protein, it weighs 3 million grams. Or more. Could be more. That's a big protein. Almost makes me jealous?
Sorry, what's that? Another video coming in right now? Let's see it.
Happy Blood Week, everybody. How much blood do you make? Well, you produce about 2 million new red blood cells every second, which means that you produce about 50 milliliters of blood every day, which means that after 5 days, you've produced about a mug full of blood. Cheers. You want to see me tell you a biology fun fact? You want to see me do it again? The joke there was like the SpongeBob where it's like, I did it already and now it happened, but no, don't use that one.
What's up with blood? If you watched some of the other videos we posted this week, you know there's actually a lot up with blood. Let's talk about what blood's composed of. Cells, proteins, and sugars. Plasma forms about 60% of the blood and is mainly water, but contains proteins such as albumin, clotting factors, antibodies, enzymes, and hormones, as well as sugar and fat particles. Platelets, along with white and red blood cells, make up the other 40% of the blood. The cells found in blood come from the bone marrow, where they begin life as stem cells and mature into red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. To get even more specific, there's 3 types of white blood cells: lymphocytes, monocytes, and granulocytes. And to get even more specific, there's 3 types of granulocytes: neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. So what do all these different parts of the blood do? As Anthony and Liam both talked about earlier this week, red blood cells are the most common type of cell found in the blood, and they transport oxygen. Since they have no nucleus, they have more room to store hemoglobin. This, combined with their bioconcave shape that increases their surface area, makes them efficient oxygen transporters. White blood cells come in many different shapes, but they all play important roles in the immune response. They circulate in the blood until they receive a signal that a part of the body's damaged. Then, depending on what type of white blood cells they are, they go and fix that damage. Platelets are fragments of cells that circulate in the blood until they're activated to form a blood clot or removed by the spleen. Having too many or too few platelets is dangerous because it can cause an increased risk of bleeding or an increased risk of forming inappropriate blood clots. I'll wrap up here before the vampires get too excited.
If you made it this far, thanks for watching.